We're now kicking off with what is big on the small screen. 7 days, 7 movies. What are we starting with, Van?
Okay, so we're going to start with, because we just talked about one South Korean film, so we may as well chuck another one in. And one of the best South Korean films of this century. This is Train to Busan, which I think is only about 2 years old now. Johnny Hearn was a big fan of this, recommended it to me. I watched it, and I thought, yes, that was absolutely terrific. This
zombies, Korean zombies.
Zombies on a train, no less.
Wow.
So it's film 4, 11:15 on Saturday nights. So if you're calling it a night early, go home, get on the couch, open a few beers, enjoy this absolute belter of a Korean zombie film in which a father taking his daughter from point A to point B on the train, so between cities, happens to board the train just as the zombie apocalypse breaks out, which is something I will also get to say about another film later on. It's brilliant.
Is zombies on a train better than snakes on a plane?
Oh, it's a tough one.
A tough one.
That is a tough one.
For a Saturday night viewing, I'm not sure how I feel.
I think if you doubled them, I think you'd go with Snakes second, just for the tone. You go with snakes on a plane after zombies on a train. There is also, incidentally, a mockbuster called Snakes on a Train.
Oh, God.
So, just a...
Well, look, you guys at home can make your mind up because it's on Saturday night, film 4, 11:15 p.m. If you need something all more groundbreaking, see what I did there?
Yeah.
The next film, Sunday, ITV2, 6:40 p.m, perfect prime time, pre-Saturday night viewing for you is San Andreas.
Pre-Saturday night? Post-Saturday?
What?
You
Is
said
it
pre-Saturday.
Sunday, yeah. The hangover continues.
Yeah, exactly. So, San Andreas with Dwayne Johnson, in which there's an earthquake. And that's really the plot, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's an earthquake. Here's Paul Giamatti telling us about it.
They knew LA was going to get hit, but nobody listened to them. It's time now to listen. Go ahead, Doctor.
Okay, in seismology terms, what we're experiencing is what we call a swarm event. Basically, California's entire tectonic plate is shifted. People need to know that the shaking is not over, and it's not aftershocks I'm talking about. San Francisco will get hit again, and it's going to be a bigger monster this time. Our models are predicting a 9.5 or greater. It will be so big that even though it's happening here in California, you will feel it on the East Coast.
And what I love about that is you don't need to know anything more because he's The Rock, and it's the type of films The Rock makes, and it's the type of films we go and watch.
Yeah, I always remember because it's not this one, it's Rampage, where we just take it as completely for granted that The Rock is a zoologist who can fly a plane.
What's the one where he jumps off the building onto the other building? It's on the poster and it's completely incorrect.
Skyscraper.
Skyscraper. Love that film. And
love
Nev Campbell's in that film. I mean,
she is.
Welcome back, Nev Campbell.
Oh, I missed Nev.
Yeah. Amazing.
Right,
San Andreas, you don't need to know anything more. It's The Rock. It's
great
Paul
Sunday tea time
Giamatti.
film, isn't it?
It's an earthquake. Let's carry on. Monday, Sony Channel, 9 p.m. Get yourself watching this. It's as good as it gets.
And then you have to watch this Oscar week as well, don't you?
Oh, my goodness.
So good
So Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt both picked up the Oscars for this. I mean, I watched this probably when I was way too young to watch it. But I loved it, and I watched it again and again and again. Yeah, I think I was even younger than that.
But it is. I remember this cleaning up at the Oscars. But you know what? It's all about that amazing Jack Nicholson performance.
You have no idea what your work means to me.
What does it mean to you?
That somebody out there knows what it's like to be in here.
Oh, God, this is like a nightmare.
Oh, come on, just a couple of questions. How hard is that? How do you write women so well?
I think of a man, and I take away reason and accountability.
No one does curmudgeon like Jack Nicholson, eh?
Oh, he's just amazing. Like, I love how he used to go into his own cafe, the regular cafe, and have exactly the same stuff. He's got OCD, right?
Yes,
That's the whole thing.
Extremely obsessive compulsive. Yeah.
And Helen Hunt's character doesn't give him any leeway with it. And they form a lovely bond as a result of it. And it's
Greg
beautiful.
Kinnear as well. Very
Yes.
good in this.
Yeah.
And Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh, it's just such... Honestly, if you haven't seen this film, as we say, it's Oscar week, go watch this. It's an absolute delight. It's like 1999 or something.
98.
98, yeah. Good knowledge.
So Tuesday, one of my favourites from 2013, and also the film that inadvertently set up Top Gun Maverick for coming out this summer. It is the introduction of Tom Cruise to director Joseph Kosinski. It is Oblivion, the sci-fi movie in which Tom Cruise is basically like a drone repairman left behind after the human race has evacuated the Earth. He comes to discover that there's actually something more mysterious going on the planet than he and his partner have been made aware of, and there are things about even himself that he doesn't quite know.
That object was the Tet, Jack. The Tet was our mission.
That's impossible. That's impossible. Who are you?
I'm your wife.
So that's 10:50 ITV4 on Tuesday. Oblivion, absolutely.
Is that the one that's like repeating itself?
No, that's Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
We're getting a sequel to that one because it's going to be Live, Die, Repeat, and Die Again. I think something like that.
Goodness.
Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat. I think is the title.
Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat. Right. Okay. Wednesday, The Road. Sony's turning out some good.
Sony's doing some good stuff lately.
Some good stuff. Yeah.
Definitely.
9:00 on Wednesday. The Road. Talk me through this one.
This is John Hillcoat's adaptation of the novel by Cormac McCarthy. I think it's 2009, I believe this was out.
Yeah.
Stars Viggo Mortensen.
Yes. Oh, I have seen
and
this.
Cody Smith-McPhee. This is the father and son who are basically on the road, walking the road after the end of the world, after the apocalypse, and the horrible things they encounter. It's one of the bleakest films you will ever sit through.
It's quite long. Like, as in, like, it's slow paced. And
it's slow, but it's intense. It's measured. It's what I would describe as a very considered, very measured film. As in, there's a lot of it, but there's not a single wasted moment, I would say.
Yeah.
The performances by both Viggo Mortensen and Cody Smith-McPhee are absolutely terrific. This was part of that sort of hot streak that Cody Smith-McPhee had as a child actor.
Yeah.
When he went from things like, was it Let Me In, to this, to the Planet of the Apes sequel, the second one. This was just a really great movie, a really well put together movie. There's a small role for Charlize Theron in there as well, but it is all about Viggo Mortensen and KSM.
Moving on to Thursday, I'm not sure why you've picked this.
Go on.
Just go with it. Sony Channel 640.
Lack of options is the short version of that.
So Jennifer Aniston, Adam Sandler, Brooklyn Decker's in this, Nicole Kidman is in this as well.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that as well.
Oh my goodness. So this is based on a weekend trip to Hawaii. A plastic surgeon convinces his loyal assistant to pose as his soon-to-be divorced wife in order to cover up a careless lie he told to his much younger girlfriend.
Because he pretends to be married and going through a divorce to get sympathy out of young women and sleep with them. And then, of course, gets caught out because he starts to like his current mark. So he gets, Jennifer Aniston to pose as his fake wife.
Well, so, Palmer, I heard you and Danny had sex.
Yes. I am so sorry.
Please, honey, it is fine. I'm just happy to hear that his thing-a-ding can still ring-a-ding. He's got a serious small issue with ED.
What's ED? I don't...
Oh gosh, I forgot. You're 15.
So for both Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler, you wonder why they struggle sometimes with more dramatic roles. Not them struggling, but to get the parts that get them, recognised. So where was Adam Sandler's performance for Uncut Gems? Where was it nominated across the board?
I'll get onto that. I'm asking that.
Okay, fine. The thing is that when they turn films out like this, and there was a lot of criticism, which I read online about Jennifer Lopez, is that they can't take them seriously as an actor. And then when they do turn out something that is brilliant, you can't, it's not enough credibility for them. So
I mean, it's a modest hit at the time, this one.
Yeah, but as in the weight of it, I suppose.
Well, the weight of it, but they've all got to do fluff eventually. I mean, I would never describe Adam Sandler's body of work as having much depth to it outside of Punch Drunk Love, Reign Over Me, and recently Uncut Gems, which I think there's a serious case of Emperor's New Clothes going on with that film. But, this made money. It does what it says on the tin. They're on fine enough form doing what they do. I can't really fault them for it. And as I say, we really didn't have much in the way of good options for next Thursday night.
All right, well, let's cap off the week then with a good option.
A good option. So this is Beast, starring Johnny Flynn, who's going to be in the new version of Emma, which I think we're reviewing next week. And Jessie Buckley, who's going to be in everything good that you see. She's going to be the next Florence Pugh, once Florence Pugh has finally finished being Florence Pugh. So this is the story of a young woman who is saved from a violent sexual attack by a mysterious, very rugged, almost dangerous bad boy type, played by Johnny Flynn. And quickly discovers that something is not quite right with him. Is he one thing? Is he another? And therein lies the mystery. But this is a British film, and I think it might be set on the Isle of Man or the Isle of Wight, something like that. Really well put together, very, very tense, very gripping, very suspenseful film.
As are a lot of British films that never get seen.
Very true, very true. Yep, just going to put that out there. Maybe if you didn't shut the UK Film Council down, we might have a chance in the world. But the thing is, this really is... I mean, I think Jessie Buckley obviously came out of this better than Johnny Flynn did. But it is a hell of a showreel for both of them as emerging young talents. It's at 9 o'clock on Film 4 on Friday. It's an absolute belter of film, and it's really worth seeing. You will never quite guess where it's going to go. A lot of nuance put into Johnny Flynn's performance, to the extent that we as the audience really don't know either. So...
Well, there we go. What a good way to end the week. Thank goodness, because we've had some right dross in the week as well.
We have.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that caps off our full rundown of what you can watch on the telly box for your 7 days coming up. Now, we're going to be moving swiftly on to the DVD and Blu-ray and video on demand and everything else that you could possibly want to stream.